Well, and with that, ladies and gentlemen and everyone, welcome back again, because it's now time to focus on gathering a digital perspective around the future of Indian telecom sector. We have with us the august presence of Mr. Rajesh Kalra of Asianet News Media and Entertainment. We also have with us none other than Dr. P.D. Vaghela, who is the Chairman, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. And we have with us Mr. Vivekanand Pani of Reverie Language Technology. So first up, if I could please invite all our three dignitaries to please come on the stage. Could I please invite Mr. Rajesh Kalra, Dr. P.D. Vaghela, and Mr. Vivekanand Pani to please come on stage. And let's welcome them with a huge round of applause, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Now, to spearhead the leadership talk, first up to present the welcome note for this segment, I'd like to request Mr. Rajesh Kalra to please share his valuable words with the august gathering. So, Mr. Kalra, over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this extremely important session with the Chairman of TRAI, Dr. Vaghela. My association with TRAI goes a very long way back. 1997, when the first TRAI was set up with Justice Sodhi, to now Dr. Vaghela. In fact, to be honest, I think my association started even before that, when the government was deliberating how to go about setting up an Indian regulator. There were discussions those days of whether it should follow the FCC model or should it be the Ofcom model. And then, of course, things about what is it that needs to be done which are specific to India, unique to India, which must be incorporated. All those things, of course, kept things busy. And over a period, TRAI has done some great work. Some major decisions and things have been taken over this period. Several of them very contentious too. The other thing was during this period was about this constant debate over whether the regulator had just the recommendatory powers or did it have absolute powers to intervene actively if there was something which was not to the liking of what the consumer interest was. And this tug of war made for very interesting times during this period. But ultimately what happened was the sector became very mature, has started getting mature, so this tug of war has ebbed. Over these past 25 years that TRAI started, some very illustrious people have headed it. Starting with Justice Sodhi, we had Mr. Khullar, Mr. Baijal, Mr. Nipendra Mishra, and now Mr. Vaghela. Just before he took over as the TRAI chairman, he was the Secretary of Pharmaceuticals of the Government of India. And during that period, he did something very exciting, because due to pandemic, we ran into issues with the PPEs, the testing kits, ventilators, N95 masks. He actually spearheaded the effort to make them in India, ultimately reaching a stage where we became exporters of all these things which were very critical for healthcare. As I said, over a period, TRAI has delivered a lot, and telecom as a sector is evolving very rapidly. Means it will keep throwing up new challenges all the time. And I'm sure with the kind of legacy that Dr. Vaghela brings here, he will continue to deliver here too. I now welcome him to give his address, please. Thank you so much.
हाइट कम इसलिए नीचे करना पड़ता है. Very good morning to all. I would like to thank Dr. Subho Ray, President, Internet and Mobile Association of India, Mr. Sanjay Gupta, Chairman, Mr. Rajesh Kalra, Executive Chairman, AsianNet News and Media Entertainment, Mr. Pani, and all the distinguished people in the audience. First, I would like to congratulate Internet Mobile Association of India for choosing an extremely relevant topic that provides us a wonderful opportunity to reflect, refocus and redirect our efforts for the next 2.5 decades at a time when we are embarking on a digital pilgrimage called Amrit Kal. Honorable Prime Minister has astutely highlighted the vast possibilities that lie ahead for India, a nation brimming with talented youth and entrepreneurs. It is time to renew our focus and determination for the next 25 years. Recently, this year's budget was introduced in the Parliament, Amrit Kal's debate budget. I am pleased to see that there is a strong emphasis in budget on developing digital innovation capabilities and advanced digital technologies. The government has made many forward-looking statements in the budget like creation of 100 laboratories to explore 5G use cases and Center of Excellence for AI. Also, there is a provision for creation of a much-needed Telecom Technology Development Fund. In my address today, I am focusing on 8 crucial issues that we must address in our journey for the next 25 years. The speech is structured on these 8 crucial governance challenges that we must address in our journey for the next 25 years. I should make it very clear that I'm not saying that these are not being addressed, but there is a need to re-emphasize on these issues. And the first issue is how to revamp our digital governance infrastructure, considering our past experience, shortfalls, and future goals. Second challenge, the challenge is that we may face because of convergence of technology and reduced investment cycles due to technological disruptions. It is a very, very important subject. Technical disruption is reducing the investment cycles. To identify, third challenge is to identify the appropriate technologies that can support the development of future governance models to satisfy the needs of such a sizable and diversified population. This should be done keeping in mind our demographic advantage, strength of IT skills, and strength of the MSME sectors. I think there is a need to focus on the MSME sector. Then, fourth challenge is further boosting local manufacturing of digital equipment for revamping digital infrastructure. Then, keeping technology at the core of policy formulations rather than just using technology when policies are put into action. Then, sixth challenge is practical implementation of whole of government approach during the Amrit Kal. That is how collaborative approach can be further infused into the model of governance. Seventh, pursuing the whole of society approach by ensuring an economic growth that is both sustainable and equitable and ensures socio-economic digital inclusion for all citizens. And last but not least, the strengthening cyber security, bringing in vibrant privacy law and protecting citizens from spam and fraud. Actually, this last issue has been and is being discussed in many forums. It is a very, very big issue, very, very sensitive issue with Digital India, and these are the issues which will be handled. But this issue requires a completely separate discussion, so I will not touch, but instead of that I will discuss about the first 7 issues. The first challenge is how to revamp our digital governance infrastructure in light of our past experiences, shortfalls and future goals. Digital governance is structured in 3 layers. The digital connectivity infrastructure layer is the bottom, followed by digital public good layer in the middle, and thirdly, the application innovation ecosystem is the top layer. Over the last few years, our focus has been on the digital public goods layer, and rightly so. India's efforts in creating digital public goods ecosystem like Aadhaar, UPI and DigiLocker of India, stack of plug and avail service model has already set a leading example worldwide, and now many countries have replicated and contacted us for these kind of applications. And projects like National Single Window System for B2G transactions and approval is further improving ease of doing business. National Portal for India provides a single window access to information and services that are electronically delivered from all government departments. ONDC, Open Network for Digital Commerce, an initiative of Government India, will provide multiple options to small businesses to be discoverable over network and conduct business. Also, ONDC is expected to make e-commerce more inclusive and accessible for consumers. Consumers can potentially discover any new sellers, products or service by using any compatible application or platform, thus increasing freedom of choice for the consumers. Going forward, in the Amrit Kal, we need to focus more on creation of a thriving application innovation ecosystem that can use these digital public goods to solve socio-economic problems. In last 7 to 8 years, the Indian government has worked hard to stimulate innovation and startup culture. Digital innovation uses emerging technologies like AI, IoT, cloud computing, and blockchain to enhance or develop new goods, processes, or services. Here, I would like to emphasize that we need to construct our own distinctive model of digital innovations focused on solving socio-economic issues in contrast to the models that are popular in other developed nations and that are largely emphasized on monetary benefits. Our efforts in development of a strong and dependable digital connectivity infrastructure spanning the entire nation also needs to continue. If we are to realize the full potential of these initiatives, 5G is going to be a common infrastructure layer for all these promising technologies. So building a vibrant 5G ecosystem is very critical. We at TRAI have worked tirelessly to ensure that our 5G ecosystem is at par with any global deployment. One of the key recommendations given by us in regard to 5G is regarding development of innovative 5G use cases. We proposed the creation of an inter-ministerial working group devoted to 5G, and I am very happy that this recommendation has been implemented. And the establishment of telecom innovation centers in collaboration with various academic institutions and ministries. This is also implemented. This center actually should specialize in developing cutting-edge solutions for 5G use cases and application in various verticals and sectors. Another key recommendation recently given to government, which I am sure will go a long way in building futuristic digital connectivity infrastructure for India, is on framework for promoting data economy through establishment of data centers, content delivery networks, and interconnect exchanges. We have not only handled technical aspects, but we have also given recommendation how we can seize the opportunity and we can actually incentivize setting of data centers and data economy in the country. Second challenge is related to the challenges that we may face because of convergence and reduced investment cycles due to technological disruptions in next 25 years of Amrit Kal. As we embark on our journey towards a digital future, it is imperative that we acknowledge the challenges that need to be addressed for growth of digital infrastructure and services in Amrit Kal. We will have to focus on addressing challenges that will arise due to blurring sectoral and national regulatory boundaries in wake of technological convergence. The fast-paced technological convergence across sectors like telecom, broadcasting, information technology, and space is transforming the way we communicate and access information. In some situations, as technology converges, the outcome may yield a completely new technology for which a regulatory category did not previously exist. Augmented reality, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, blockchain, and edge computing are some of the technologies that will contribute to development and penetration of metaverse in the coming years. As it develops and gets deployed, metaverse would progressively start impacting the Indian socio-economic scene in a substantial manner. In Amrit Kal, we need to come out with effective administration and governance structure for the metaverse, which may mirror the governance structure of the physical world. We will be required to have the mirror governance structure for the virtual world also. In the converged era, there is a need to bring in synergies in legal, licensing, administration, regulatory setups of different ministries to ensure an orderly and optimal growth of the digital economy in country. In addition, various institutional establishments dealing with standardization, testing, and certification. That is one. Second, training and skilling. Third is research and development. And fourth is promotion of industries under different ministries can be synergized effectively to serve in the converged era. Realizing the same, TRAI has recently issued a consultation paper that examines the challenges posed by converging of technology and seeks views of the stakeholder on changes required, if any, legal, administrative, licensing framework to deal with these challenges. Third challenge will be to identify the appropriate technology that can support the development of future governance models so as to satisfy the needs of such a sizable and diversified population. This should be done keeping in mind our demographic advantage, our skills, IT skills, and strength of the MSME sector. For developing economies like India, it is essential to protect the fragile digital economy from the sudden and massive disruptions caused by these advancements. The life cycle of technology is decreasing, forcing investors to look for return on their investment within much less number of years. This makes it challenging for any government to attract investment in the sector. Even for the investment that have been made, it will be very difficult for the government to protect their interest as newer and frugal technological solution will come. Adoption is the only way. This applies to both government and regulator on one hand and industry on the other hand. The biggest challenge the regulator will face is how to respond to these technical disruptions and allow the new products, new services to come in, at the same time making it soft landing for the present existing stakeholder. So technologies such as blockchain and artificial intelligence are fueling new disruptive innovations around the world and have potential to drive innovation in digital governance. According to PwC research, AI may boost the world economy by up to 15.7 trillion billion by 2030. India has a demographic advantage that can be used to its utmost potential to become a powerhouse in these cutting-edge technologies because its sizable young population is globally known for its IT skills. The incredible potential of IT talent and the fast-growing startup ecosystem can make India a world leader in field of artificial intelligence and machine learning. The government has already made a significant start in promoting startup ecosystem. With over 5 million IT professionals, India already boasts the largest pool of IT talent in the world. And with 85,000 startups capitalizing on digital governance, I am sure that India of 2047 will be a force to reckon with. TRAI has taken a very proactive stand in looking into how AI might impact the country in future. 5G and beyond networks will provide a plethora of data that may be useful for telecom as well as other sectors. Edge computing in the 5G era may offer opportunities to the other sectors to train, validate and run their AI models in the telecom networks. The developments happening in the 6G and possibilities emerging in the 6G era to leverage AI and big data in telecom as well as other sectors indicate that telecom can play an important and crucial role. Availability of AI-specific infrastructure and adequate skilled manpower will be crucial. Accordingly, TRAI has initiated a consultation process on artificial intelligence which deliberates various issues and concerns, and soon we will be coming out with recommendation on the subject. Investment in education and training programs that build the skills necessary to compete in the global economy is also crucial. We also have to work to create a skilled and adaptable workforce through education and training programs and promote entrepreneurship and innovation. The use of augmented reality and virtual reality technologies can help bridge the gap in physical infrastructure for education and skilling program, making it possible to educate and skill millions of people without the need for vast physical infrastructure all over the country. There will also be need to design certification programs that will help the technically skilled manpower to upgrade itself and keep its relevance in the fast-changing technical world. New education policy is equipped to effectively handle these challenges. Another sector that has a huge potential to transform and which we have not focused, unfortunately, though use of digital technology is the small and medium enterprise sector. SMEs are foundation of the Indian economy. In Amrit Kal, we have to give SMEs support to access digital connectivity and technological tools like AI and ML. This will in turn support economic growth and help creation of new jobs. Realizing that 5G can be a game changer not only for the big industry but all for the huge pool of MSME of our country, TRAI has made a specific recommendation for MSME sector. We have recommended that DOT should take up matter with the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises to carry out a study to understand the level of acceptance and adoption of industrial automation and digital technology by MSME in the country as compared to other industries. Based on the learning from such study, appropriate schemes, including interest subvention schemes for upgradation of plant and machinery may be devised to facilitate the micro, small and medium enterprise to overcome various constraints and move towards industrial automation and adoption of 5G based solution and use cases. This is very important because it is told that if you implement Industry 4.0, which is in infancy, and the cost of reduction will be 17%. The problem with the MSMEs in India and what what I understand is that their adoption even 4G technology is not very significant. So if they do not go for Industry 4.0 solution, I think the cornering of the manufacturing in the hands of big industry can happen. And considering the fact that MSMEs provide almost 70% of the employment to the country, we cannot afford to neglect this aspect. So this will require special budgetary provisions to be made by the Ministry of MSME. The fourth challenge for Amrit Kal will be to further boost local manufacturing of digital equipment for revamping digital infrastructure. We will have to ensure that our mission of Atmanirbhar succeeds and we become global hub for research, development, standardization, manufacturing and testing of digital equipment. As we move towards building an Atmanirbhar digital economy, one of the most pressing challenges is local equipment manufacturing, which is crucial to ensure sustainable growth. This will not only create job opportunities, but reduce our dependence on imports and increase our competitiveness globally. Robust local manufacturing of digital equipment is also prerequisite in view of growing security concerns regarding data privacy and overarching geopolitical concerns surrounding personal data protection. The government is successfully taking steps in this direction with various schemes like TLIs for mobiles, electronics and telecom products, and preferred market access. Our efforts to develop and manufacture 4G and 5G related equipment within India has started bearing fruits. We have in the path-breaking move indigenously developed 4G and 5G core and stack. During the Amrit Kal, we need to further work on the national digital telecommunication policy objectives that envisages maximizing India's contribution to global value chains by focusing on domestic production, increasing exports and reducing the import burden. We need to ensure by robust communication, R&D ecosystem that our technical workforce, academicians and researchers play a crucial role in development of 6G and beyond technologies and standards so that India can hold significant number of patents in this field. TRAI is presently working on its recommendation of further incentivizing local equipment manufacturing, including software, both in telecom and broadcasting sector. We are also working on our recommendation to boost R&D capabilities within the country. Presently, the fabrication of ICs involves huge capital investment, so components are being imported due to the inability of the domestic production to meet manufacturers' requirements. Considering its priority and area of focus, government has announced in December 2021 the incentive scheme for developing an entire ecosystem for chip manufacturing in the country. During Amrit Kal, India has to aim to become a major hub of semiconductor chip design, fabrication, assembly and testing. The fifth and the sixth, both challenges actually I will take together and they are interlinked. The fifth challenge will be how to further infuse collaborative approach into the model of governance, and sixth challenge will be how to keep technology at the core of policy formulation. This is very important. While following whole of government approach, this is amply made clear by Honorable Finance Minister in the last year budget also, that all the decisions should be guided by the digital technology. We are to achieve the goals of Digital India during Amrit Kal. The next issue that I would like to draw your attention is on the importance of mainstreaming digital thinking and whole of government approach in policy making at all level of governance. The digital age has the power to revolutionize the way we live, work and connect. But to tap into its full potential, we need to foster an ecosystem that supports innovation and growth. The whole of government approach acknowledges that digital technologies impact multiple aspects of government and society, and therefore it is essential to take a comprehensive and integrated approach to policy making. PM Gati Shakti, for example, is an excellent start, and several government institutions, especially those in logistics, have begun aligning them to common policy objectives. In Amrit Kal, we need to ensure that the effectiveness of the initiative is not constrained by the internal policies of the participating organizations and departments. There is a need to spell overall governance framework where concerns are not seen as being specific to one sector, the socio-economic issues that impact the whole country. To ensure that the different sectors of the economy are working together towards the common goal of digital India, TRAI is closely working to foster collaboration among government entities and regulators for co-creation, co-sharing, co-regulation and cooperation to solve infrastructure and government-related problems. TRAI is collaborating with Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and BIS for amending building codes and bylaws for creating an ecosystem for robust digital connectivity infrastructure in the buildings. TRAI has collaborated with GMR Airport Delhi, Deen Dayal Port Kandla, and Namma Metro Bangalore to look into various possibilities of using infrastructure available with them for providing digital services. This will basically, will help in reducing the cost of, rolling out the 5G. We have closely worked with Bhopal Smart City Administration to understand how street furniture owned by them and other agencies can be used for deploying telecom connectivity equipment. All this, actually, we have prepared a manual for the guidance of all the state government and local authorities. We have written to them. You can have access. This is available on our website. We have closely worked with power sector regulator to understand how telecom and power sector can collaborate and share their infrastructure to build a better nation. And many of the state regulators have now started, allowing co-sharing of their poles and their, and their other infrastructure for putting up the telecom infrastructure. So, TRAI has taken an initiative also to form a joint committee of regulators consisting of Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, Reserve Bank of India, Security and Exchange Board of India, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Ministry of Home and Department of Commerce to frame joint action plan to curb financial frauds using a telecom resources. And we have done a lot of headway. Recently, we have issued 2 direction with regard to telemarketing. We are now coming out with a direction how to use the AI and ML in order to stop the spam which are being at present sent to all the subscriber and customers by using the 10 number. And there are they are using box of machines and many other things. So, we will be issuing a appropriate order on that also. While preparing policies for socio-economic development for Amrit Kal, all government entities should keep in mind that digital services will completely disrupt the way government will serve its citizens and business. That means they have to be very flexible and very responsive and to the policies and the rules and the regulations, and which will require appropriate change. But the changes should not be such that it blocks the entry of the new products, new services, and the new players. So, JAM Trinity, that is Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, and mobile have changed the way the financial sector used to function in India and paved way for huge financial inclusion for the poor, farmers, and middle class. And it is just not the financial sector or the UPI. There are several other government initiatives that have been taken up in the last few years and that have the same potential to change the socio-economic development scene, the way UPI did for the financial sector. Whether it is health, education, agriculture, or any other sector, the digital services along with use of artificial intelligence, machine learning, machine-to-machine communication, and other upcoming technologies can help government in further improving the cashless and paperless service delivery to its citizens. Such service delivery through digital platforms has advantage that it can improve customers' experience and reduce administrative cost. We are about to recommend, on the issue of ease of doing business, and in that we are going to emphasize on use of AI and machine learning, and for further improving the delivery of services and B2G transactions for the people. It has wide reach as every citizen can be empowered in form of access to services, relevant information and database through means of digital devices and services. This results in more efficient markets. Assessing the possible impacts of digital technology on government service delivery and then developing policies that are consistent with digital future are 2 essential ingredients for integrating digital thinking into policy making. That is, first we have to assess what is the impact of the the new technology on the government service delivery, and then we have to develop policies that are consistent with the digital future. So, the whole of government approach which keeps digital thinking at the center of planning will be able to find new strategies for every sector to achieve desired socio-economic goals of Amrit Kal. The seventh and the last important challenge is in how to pursue whole of society approach by ensuring an economic growth which is sustainable and equitable, as well ensures socio-economic inclusion of all citizens. So while we all have been hearing a lot about the whole of government approach, I have also been propounding whole of society approach, which is popularly addressed as digital inclusion. Digital inclusion is critical to achieving our socio-economic objectives over the next 25 years. However, digital inclusion in India faces several challenges at present, despite excellent work done in the last few years and we becoming the second biggest telecom market in the world. Despite one of the key challenges is gaps in digital infrastructure, particularly in rural and remote areas, which makes it difficult for people in these areas to access digital technologies. Second challenge is there is a need to go for continued digital literacy and skill upgradation program so that people can effectively use new digital technologies and take advantage of the benefits they offer. This I am keeping in international forum also, that digital literacy once given is not good enough. You have given certain digital literacy keeping in 3G and 4G in mind. Now 5G has come. 5G offers completely new opportunities and new kind of services. So we need to have a inbuilt system of continued literacy program. So this is very important. This requires solutions especially for 5G penetration and balanced development, allow them to participate in the digital economy. As we move towards a digital future, it is imperative that we tackle the challenges of digital inclusion head on. TRAI has in the past issued several recommendations to improve digital connectivity infrastructure in rural, remote and hilly areas and even islands, so as to ensure that people living there are not digitally excluded. Very recently, we have given our recommendations on improving digital connectivity in far-flung areas of Himachal Pradesh and have written to the government on how to achieve the same in Sikkim. These recommendations, actually I think, we have given this recommendation, but this recommendation can be equally applicable to such other areas and regions. So we are in the process of framing our recommendation on Ladakh and Northeast also. We are also planning to come out with a consultation paper to comprehensively address the issue of digital inclusion in the country. See, whether we like it or not, because, till now, the mobiles with 2G, 3G, the mobile prices has come down, very drastically. And 4G, I think also prices have come down. I think 5G, the prices of mobiles are very high, and I don't know by what time it will come down. So actually, availability of devices also is becoming a very, very big issue, and we want to handle this issue in our consultation paper in addition to connectivity and literacy. So in conclusion, the road ahead is full of exciting challenges and great opportunities. One thing is certain, the future of our great nation, India, rests on our ability to embrace new technology, respond to technological disruptions so as to seize opportunity arising from such changes. We at TRAI understand the critical role that governance institutions play in shaping a successful digital future. This is why we are unwavering in our commitment to regulate the sector with transparency and fairness, promoting competition and safeguarding the rights of every citizen. By doing so, we will not only be creating a stable environment for investment and innovation, but we will also be laying the foundation for a brighter tomorrow for all Indians and a prosperous, peaceful and proud India at 100. Thank you.
Firstly, thank you very much, sir, for sharing across all the important innovations that are taking place in the telecom sector, and as well as all the important initiatives taken up by TRAI. So thank you very much for joining us. And that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd now like to invite Mr. Vivekanand Pani of Reverie Language Technology to propose the vote of thanks for this leadership talk session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Vaghela. That was a very informative talk, and I think the 8 challenges are just so relevant, and to a large extent, not just nerving, but also reassuring. Since we have some time, maybe we can take a couple of questions for Mr. Vaghela from the audience.
Thank you. Yeah, so Dr. Vaghela, my question is to you. Thank you so much for emphasizing all the efforts that have been taken by TRAI. I would also appreciate the efforts taken by TRAI towards the DLT, that is Directory Ledger Technology, to curb the menaces by the spams and frauds by using different entities, headers or message templates. So, sir, my question is on this similar line. So, we heard that DLT has 2 phases to be lined up. So, the first phase is successfully being implemented. So, we see that there is something called as consent management, which is in the role. So, could you please emphasize on this, and this would be a great understanding to see, and if this can really be changing the way you have been emphasizing on the point, please.
Yeah. No, you are very right. There are 2 issues which have not been implemented. One is, consent management, and second is, voice call.
Yeah.
We have handled, SMS aspect only.
Right.
And I think voice call we will be able to handle. We are working with the telecom operators, and they have come out with solutions. There were certain challenging issues. Consent management is slightly, messy in the sense that how to handle that. If you will be bombarded with, almost everyone asking for consent.
Right.
So, there, we would, we are thinking how to go about that, whether it should be bottom-top approach or top-up, or a mix of that. So, we are discussing this, and we shall be able to come out with some solution. We don't want, the consumers being bombarded with, all kind of, people, asking for consent. So that is the only issue. I think we will be able to implement that in the next few months.
Right, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
To add on to that, almost my bank or many of the companies, I'm already digitally giving them the consent, right? So when I seek everything digitally. So do we need to have this consent separately again taken still? Or where exactly this comes in fit as it?
Yeah, I don't know, because see, I myself has ended up giving consent to so many people.
Right.
And that, I think, that also issue we are examining, that should we go ahead with the consents which are already given by the subscriber, or should we, go for a fresh consent system. So, we are working on, because there are certain technical challenges in that. The only thing is that we don't want to create a situation in which, see, actually we end up giving consent on social media, Facebook and other things,
Yeah.
So, our worry is that, they should not be misusing that. So, we'll see. But I do agree that if suppose, trustworthy, I would say trustworthy PEs, if they have taken the consent, should we take the consent again? Right. That I do agree. So we'll examine this issue. Thank you.
Sure, sir. Thanks for your
Thank
answer.
you.
Any more questions? We can, yeah.
Thank you, sir. My question is to Dr. Vaghela. Thank you for touching on digital inclusion. So I represent an agri-tech firm. So all these improvements in technology, right, the 5G and all is going to help farmers, mainly in the extension because of the speed, right? But there is another segment, right, where you said fourth industrial, where IoTs, which is on the fields, right, where the data speed required is very low because they transfer just few KBs of data to that, but it needs to be widespread, right? Is there any thinking, because that is going on a different tangent than the typical focus in the, we talk about, right, 4G, 5G, much faster internet and other things, right? Is there anything you're looking at those specific needs for digital inclusion? Because with increasing IoT and agriculture is also going to go there in the future, this will become a roadblock. We are not facing it now, but even in the pilots and all which is done, right? Or even if the signal is there, right, it's very expensive because we don't need really 4G or 5G in those cases.
I agree. Yeah, so you are very right. We have made recommendation on IoT also, and government has accepted that. But see what happens, see what kind of application and what kind of use cases are affordable. That is, first important is affordable and durable, right? So IoT has exciting possibilities, for the, not only for the farmers, for many other sectors. Even it is, exciting possibility in the logistics sector also. So what we have recommended in our 5G, you should go through that recommendation. I will always say, please read our chapter 5 of recommendation. All other chapters are technical, ecosystem, how to go about, fixing the, base price, and, how to go about auction, all those kind of things. But chapter 5, I think, the heart of our recommendation. That, what we have recommended, that a time has come that we need to decentralize, when it comes to the efforts of digitalization of our sectors. So, largely today, DOT, IT, right, and to some extent, I would say space, they are involved in, efforts of, handling the aspect of, telecom and the digital infrastructure. That includes satellites also. We have recommended that every ministry should open a digital cell and should be headed by a joint secretary. This is one recommendation we have said. Second recommendation which we have made, and which is very, very important, that they should launch a portal asking for innovative ideas, solutions, use cases. That includes IoT also, and for that particular sector, and that and then these different use cases and application should be identified. That is one thing. So you naturally will encourage startups, entrepreneurs and innovators, to be on the platform who are interested, for example, in agriculture. So they all will go there, and then the various use cases and applications will be identified. Naturally, they will require development. So you use the Center of Excellence and other universities to further fine-tune those ideas and the applications, and then go for a mass development. That means when massive development, that means the government has to come into, government have to have schemes, so that the farmers, the fishermen and other people can afford these use cases and applications. So this applies to IoT also. So my understanding is that we need a decentralized way of handling the issue of digitalization of the economy and exploiting the possibilities which are available in technology, especially 5G technologies. And we have seen the developed countries, especially Western countries, have gone for trickle-down approach when it comes to 5G penetration. They say the economy will take care of, and new use cases will be developed, new applications will be developed, and and that is right also in those countries. I think that may happen. But in a country like India, where the huge segment of MSMEs, again I keep on telling about MSMEs and informal sector, and there I think trickle down has not happened significantly, even for 4G based technologies. So 5G is going to be I think an uphill task. So our understanding is that vertical ministries should prepare the plans, and they should have a budgetary provisions for providing devices, connectivity and literacy to their stakeholders. That is one thing. And secondly, they should go for identifying the use cases, applications of various technology, including IoT. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vaghela. This has been an extremely engaging and information-packed session. I'm told that the time is up. One last question, should we? Okay.
Thank you.
I've already been warned. Probably this will have to be the last one. You need to make it quick.
Dr. Vaghela, I have one question for you. I hope I'm audible. All right. So almost a decade back, the Indian handsets, the keypad, was standardized for Indian languages. And come the big tech, they had a monopoly, and we were asked to use the manufacturers of Indian handsets, either being manufactured in India or being imported to India, will have to follow their default keypad, right? So right now, the situation is we all type in Indian languages in our own way. There is no standard of keypads like QWERTY, which is an internationally accepted standard for the English language. Do you foresee the TRAI taking the ownership again and standardizing the keypads for Indian languages in India?
I would not know, but I think as the time passes, this is happening in, I think, all products, especially in digital communication. Standardizations will be required because what happens that these kind of devices, they connect each other. So for example, we went for trusted sources only because the fact that the devices can be used for spying and collecting information. So same thing applies to chipsets also. I think standardization will happen, but I am not a technical person. But as I understand, standardization is the way. In my speech also I told that in many products and many telecom products, standardization requires to be done in India. Also, if we go for standards within India for various devices, it also gives, it promotes, local manufacturing also. So,
sure.
So
thank you, Dr. Vaghela.
Absolutely right, sir. So I must bring to your knowledge also, Internet came to India in 1995. Today, mobile phone has become the primary access device for the Internet, and it has been so for the last 15 years. But we did not have Indian languages typing or viewing ability on mobile phones until about 5 to 7 years ago. So with that, we'll probably have to close this. Thank you so much, sir. This was a very, very informative session. Telecom definitely goes way beyond just human communication. So it's going to be super relevant. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.